You might have heard of this. It's like, oh, educational content is dying. I feel like a lot of people are saying that nowadays. And well, the reason behind that is just, and that's actually one of the main problems a lot of my clients have too, is like they think their lead magnet has to be insane and they spend so much time on it. I'm like, listen, just focus on one problem, give even like 1%, people will be happy. But it's how I basically take like that one core idea and turn it into reels, emails, carousels, YouTube, without really having to think about new ideas, new steps, new actionable tips. That's kind of just how I'm repurposing things, man.
Today's episode is gonna be a pure mastermind of extracting content and repackaging. And I think you are one of the masters, especially when it comes to short form. So
Appreciate it.
We'll definitely dive into that. I sent you some questions before so that you could take a look. So we're just gonna go in that order. But is there anything you'd like to maybe say if there's anything off topic or doesn't really matter?
I don't know. It really doesn't matter. I think we'll see where it takes us. Right?
Yeah, cool. So yeah, it's gonna be this is gonna be a masterclass on learning how to extract great content and learning how to repackage. Today we have a master in-house of short forms. The man, the myth, the legend. I was gonna say Chris Zeta, but it's the only Zeta.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate the words.
Yeah. So let's start with. I want to scope this out in the conversation that people probably ask you a lot, like, how do I make money from content? But one of the scope I don't want to include is taking, where do I want to go with this? In terms of trying to make money from just content purely.
Yeah.
Meaning like in the affiliate stuff. I think I want to bring you back for that on a different episode.
Yeah.
So let's just start with learning how to extract, because that's what I learned from you when I hired you as a coach back like almost 2 years ago. I saw it. I'm like, wow, this is done so beautifully. How you're taking the prompts and learning how to like work around it and putting your own voice in. So, what are the steps in learning to extract great content and also learn how to repackage in your unique own voice?
Yeah, I think what a lot of people do right now, and it's just what's been told to them, is kind of like find a viral piece of content and recreate it. And a lot of people, I feel like, they take that almost too literally, where they almost take it like one for one.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so many just copycats on Instagram. Like, you've probably seen it. It's like a big thing where it feels like everyone's posting the exact same piece of content because everyone's kind of been told to just look at a viral video, take the hook, kind of recreate it. And I don't believe in doing that because I think you just look like a copycat like other people and you never build like your own true brand that actually builds trust. But I still do believe in taking those ideas. So this is kind of what I do whenever I want to repackage an idea. So I still believe in research. I think research is king, especially for content. I think the more research you do in your niche, the more you figure out what patterns are consistent across videos that do well, and the more you can take for your own video. So typically what I'll do is I'll look at different videos, and I won't even like look at the hook. Like so many different hooks work, but there's so many to a hook. It's not just the verbal hook, it's the visual, it's the text on the screen. So what I do though is I look at the framework of the video. Okay, what kind of hook was it? Was it a bold hook? Was it like a provocative question hook? Was it a personal hook? Okay, what's the next line after that? What was kind of the build up to like the main value? How did they present the main value? Then what was the end of the video or the CTA? So what I do now is I'll find a creator that I really like, and then I'll take their scripts and I'll put it into like this one big document, and then I'll go to ChatGPT and I'll be like, hey, give me like the frameworks of these videos, analyze all the videos and give me like a framework that they're using consistently. And that will give me like a good framework for what I can even use for my video if I want to do it on a similar idea.
What's been shocking to me when I first worked with you is how you made it simple in that you had I don't know if it was Google Doc. I think it was like either Google Doc, Notion, or spreadsheets.
Yeah.
And you basically had, okay, go find your top 10 people in your industry.
Yeah.
And then like put their links and then blah, blah, blah. But you made it so easy and organized. So I'm like, man, this guy's such a mathematical guy, but it works. So could you maybe break that down on like, to those that are listening that wants to learn how to research and extract.
Yeah.
So first, how do you organize? And then we'll sort of talk into the extracting using the prompts. So let's start with organization.
So for organizing it, first thing you want to do is, let's say you just started from scratch. You have no idea what to create. The easiest thing you could do is go find people in your exact same niche that are doing good with content. But I always tell people, don't look at the people that have millions of followers or 500,000 followers.
Oh, okay.
Their content
Right.
that does well will be not even close to what you do well. Because the audience they've already built up a core audience. They can literally talk about anything not even related to their niche, and it'll probably still do well. So what I always tell people is find people like, let's say you're at 3,000 followers.
Yeah.
Find someone who's at 30K or 50K or even 100K, typically not over 200K. And then look at those creators, because what content works well for them will most likely work well for you. So you make a list of 10 creators like that.
Yeah.
And then what you do is go to each creator's profile. And what I like to do is like organize it by the most views.
Okay.
And to do that, I use like an AI tool called Midro. Yeah.
Okay.
So where you just put their link in, it will organize it by most views, and then you can actually get the scripts on like the platform itself.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I use that, and then I'll kind of put it into a spreadsheet. I'll put any idea I find that's most viral from these creators that I like that I'll recreate.
Yeah.
And then by the end, if I do that, I might have a list of, let's say I take 5 ideas from each creator. I'll have a list of 50 ideas. And that's good enough to last you for like 2 to 3 months now, just to recreate. And those are proven ideas from creators as well in your exact niche.
You know, I've after working with you, I've also done that of just researching. And I think one of the lady that I want to highlight, I think her name is Ava.
Personal brand launch.
Yeah. So I went through at least I think I did 25 of her top videos.
Yeah.
But would you also agree that as you're doing this organizing, you're starting to pick up the little nuances?
Yeah.
And do you think that also helps you, or when in your journey, like, or the people that may try it, learn to also realize, oh, this is how you play the game?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like once you do it yourself, you pick up the patterns. You pick up, oh, well, they use this hook in this video, this video, this video. Oh, they mentioned this, or they showed this. You start to understand what works. Because I have a firm belief that not every single video will work in different niches. Different niches have different formats that work.
That's so good.
Videos that work in like the personal trainer niche might not work in a real estate niche. And the same thing, a real estate niche might not work in the content marketing niche. So you need to just really hone in on your niche alone and look at those frameworks and formats that are consistently working. And that's going to get your results much faster.
That's really cool. Okay, so whatever document you're using, is there one that you would recommend? Like, what did you use? Notion?
I think I just use, honestly, for getting the ideas, I just use Google Sheets.
Google Sheets. Okay.
Literally, like I can tell you, the column is literally username, platform, link, and then there's another spreadsheet where it's like core idea, what's kind of the idea about, how many views it got compared to their average views, link to the video. That's literally like all of
There
it.
you go. Okay. So then we have a stack organization of different users and like what they've been posting. What's the next step then that you would take in your research of learning to extract the core ideas? And then the third one, I think we'll talk about how you spin off your uniqueness.
So I would say, whenever you go through these videos, they're always going to be centered around one core idea. And then there's different ways you can kind of position a core idea. What I've done is I think every single idea you have can be turned into 4 different content angles. So let's take the idea
This is so good. Yeah.
Let's take the idea of, let's say something that I believe in is like you don't have to post daily. You can post like 3 times per week and you'll still grow. So like so that's our core idea, and then there's 4 different content angles. The first content angle is what I call an engagement piece of content. This is very broad level content that it's most of the content you see online that's educational. That's just how to and step by step. So what I would say here's how to make 3 good videos that's going to help you grow X amount of followers a week, and I would give a step by step. Then the second content angle I could take that core idea from is more of a insight or belief shifting. Because a lot of people, right, my goal with content is always try to shift the perspective of the viewer. Because if I can shift their perspective, they're going to see me more of an expert. They're going to remember me than just like a resource creator who's just giving tips all the time.
That's so good.
So my second piece of content I would create from that core idea is why you don't need to post daily to grow online. And it's more of like I call it like why piece of content. You're just going deeper into why this works, why I believe in this belief. And then after that, the next content angle is what I call personality, where I just share a personal story of myself. So now I can do like, here's from like, for example, the piece of content could be, I tried posting every single day. I burnt out. Then I switched to posting 3 times per week, and I was getting better results. And I would just kind of go into my own personal story and go into like my feelings to build more trust and connection with the audience.
That's so good.
And then the last piece is what I call sales or proof content, just showcasing like why my core idea is true, and basically going how I got better results from posting less, or how a client or student of mine, or if I have no social proof, take it from someone else.
Okay.
Right? Take it from a bigger creator who maybe they talked about posting daily and how they are now getting better results by only posting less.
That's so good.
So it's literally one core idea can literally turn into those 4 content buckets, which each can be posted as their own reel online.
And I think from what I recall is you also have prompts that sort of help. Help the AI extract in those 4 contents, right?
I do that now. Like I literally,
yeah.
So I now like I have a prompt that
It's a
literally
secret prompt.
you put one, yeah, exactly. You put one core idea into the prompt, and it will tell you how you can position it with those 4 content angles. And I literally did that before coming here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was thinking about content this week, so I took
Right.
my core idea. Like I'll give you an example. My core idea this week was that you don't need to consistently create new products. You need to basically sell more access, which basically is just talking about how there's a lot of creators that think they just need keep creating new courses online to make money. Well, and basically the core idea I'm trying to deliver to the audience, that you don't need to create more courses, you need to sell more access, which is basically like sell a done by you product that requires basically none of your time, right? It's just like a course. Then sell a done with you product, which is maybe a coaching, where essentially you're still teaching the same thing as in the course. They just get a little bit more access to you.
Yeah.
And then you can even sell
proximity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Then you can sell like a done for you product, which essentially it's more access to you, where you're doing more of the work, but you're also you're just charging a higher price. But it's still like those same core teachings. You're just now doing it for them.
Yeah.
So it's one product, different levels of access, and that's what basically I found a way to turn it into those 4 different content angles, and that's kind of the content I'm going to be creating this week.
You know, that's pretty amazing to hear your thought process and how you go with that. I think I know we'll talk a bit more about AI as we in the later of the talk. So we've learned to extract and also categorize into 4 pillars, which I love. You said there's the engagement content, the why content, personality, and then also sales and proof. And then in terms of putting in your own unique spin on it, is that more so happening in the personality you find with the clients that you're sort of helping?
Yeah, I think always talk from a place of just I instead of like how to. Because I think when you talk about personal experiences, it just comes across as you're kind of being a teacher and just talking from lessons.
I've done that. I'm so guilty of doing that because I was a teacher before.
It's so good though. It's because people don't want to be told. It's like, hey, don't do, or like, hey, don't do this if you want to get X, right? You're kind of just like blabbing, or you're just yapping online, what I call it. But when you talk from personal experience, like here's what I learned from doing X, Y, Z, people just, it feels more authentic, right? And like people feel like they're learning from lessons rather than just being spoken to or spoken at, which a lot of people don't like, you know.
That's so good. Are there any other phrases that comes to mind where you're saying, okay, learn to say I rather than you?
Also, I always try to go into the why of things. I think that's it too. Like a lot of people, you could tell a lot of people, hey, do this, but there's no reason behind it. People are just like, hey, do this if you want to get more followers, but it's like, why is that going to help me? You know?
Yeah.
So I always try to go into the why and the reason, just so people, or at least give proof to whatever I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just to show there is something to back it up.
Pretty good. So I think you've started this business now almost 2.5 years. Is it going to the third
I started
year?
creating content in January 2023.
Or I'd like you to share about the common struggles that the business owners and entrepreneurs come to you with when it comes to creating content. If you could like list like maybe the top 3 to 5, and I know you probably can list 100.
There's so many. Oh my God. Okay, so let's just start with the content wise. I feel like a lot of people do not know how to create content that actually attracts their ideal clients. A lot of people are just creating content that, again, they see another piece of content in their niche go viral. They're like, okay, I want to create that piece of content. What I'll tell people is like the content that goes viral is not content that's going to most likely attract your ideal clients, because content that goes viral is very broad beginner level content. And if you're someone that's trying to attract, let's say, a high level audience that's not just someone that's trying to make money online, then you need to go really into their problems. And that content isn't typically going to do the greatest, right? Maybe one every 10 or every 5 will actually do really good. So that's probably one of the biggest problems, is a lot of people are just creating content to try to get views. They're not actually creating content that's going to attract the people they want to actually work with.
Yeah.
Number 2, I think, would just be consistency. I think that's the biggest problem that I've had with clients, is just like posting consistently. They don't have systems, and I try to even help them with the systems, but it's very hard for some people to just dedicate that time, because it is like, content is not easy, I will say.
Yeah.
Like, it does take a lot of work. You have to figure out how to be comfortable on camera, talk to the camera, how you want the video to look, how do you get it to look that way? Are you going to edit yourself, or are you going to hire an editor? So even though like I do everything I can to help with systems, there is a lot of people that just won't make the proper investments in terms of money and time to be successful with content. And they think usually they go into it, think it's going to take a lot less work than it usually is. And then I'll do a last one here.
Yeah.
Number 3.
So you're saying first one is like trying to get, what did I write here, man? I have chicken scratch writings. Trying to get content for the virality rather than trying to get their contents for attract their own clients. Yeah. Number 2 is consistency with problems, seeing it in the longer term. Yeah. What's another? Yeah, maybe one more.
I'll give you
common problem.
I'll give you a third one that's new that I've recently really shifted my mindset on, is actually only posting on Instagram, because I have a thing about
that. That's a problem you're saying?
I think that's a problem that a lot of people are having, is not distributing their content, because I think we're at a point where trust is kind of like an all-time low. Yeah. Just because everyone's kind of been like scammed and lied to, and like there's all these claims, and nobody really trusts anyone anymore to like give just thousands of dollars. Yeah. So to kind of build that trust, it's really hard to do that specifically on Instagram, I feel like. Just because Instagram is a place where maybe people see you for like 30 seconds, and then they kind of forget you the next day. That's usually what happens. So what I always tell people now is build more of like this content ecosystem where use Instagram to get discovered, right? Use Instagram to get your ideal clients to follow you, but then you want to move them kind of to an off platform that you own, either a school community or potentially like an email list. Usually most people just do an email list. Right. Because the good thing with email is like, with Instagram, the algorithm will not show your content to every single person. Right. But at least with email, like your email will go out to like 99% of your email list.
Because they've done the work to say, hey, I want to be informed of what you do.
Exactly. It's like their choice to either open up the email or not, but at least they have that choice. And then what I like to do with email, because email is good because it's more medium length content. It's more where you can talk about your personal self and where you can sell. Because Instagram isn't a good place to really sell through Reels. Like email, people are okay with selling just because, when people are on Instagram, they're like scrolling for like entertainment. Yeah. People don't want to buy. Email is typically a place where people are sitting at their desk reading their emails. They got their wallet next to them. They're more just prone to buying. And then I always like doing YouTube. And I think I'm so big on YouTube for the next like 2 to 3 years, I think for coaches specifically, because I do think Instagram is now at a place where it's hard to get views. There's more competition than ever because it's a lower barrier to entry, because anyone could just whip up their phone and post a piece of content. But YouTube's a lot harder. YouTube takes time. But if you can create a successful YouTube and create this funnel where you're going from pushing someone from Instagram to email to YouTube to watch like a 30-minute video, right? If someone watches that 30-minute video, they've now spent more time with you than probably like 3 months of you just posting on Instagram.
That's a good way to look at it,
Yeah, so that's what I've seen recently, is like a lot of the people that have paid me like higher prices have now come from YouTube. And it's not like I get crazy views either. I've had like some videos that do well, but usually on average they get maybe like 1,000 to 2,000 views. Yeah. But like for those people that watch those videos, they are super high intent buyers. They're qualified leads. They've come from my Instagram too. And I just think that's going to be a big problem going forward for a lot of people. And I've seen it. I literally talked to a guy the other day who at his peak, probably like a year ago or two, he was making like $80,000 a month from his coaching. I think this month he hasn't signed anyone. And he has like a $12,000 overhead, which means he's losing $12,000. And it's just because there's more competition in the space. It's getting harder to stand out, and it's getting harder to build trust.
So the dynamics of social media is changing, but one of the things you're saying to the people is like, hey, folks, you gotta stop only just distributing on Instagram,
Yeah.
but learn how to distribute to other places. Let's go into the content ecosystem. When people hear that, I think especially business owners, again, not those people that just want to make money from content, but we're trying to target the solopreneurs or the small lean team that just trying to leverage content. So what does it mean to create an ecosystem from your content?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I call it this like the content leverage flywheel, where essentially how my flywheel works, and I'll give like an insight.
Okay, what's the title again? It's
content leverage flywheel.
Content leverage flywheel.
Where basically what I do is I take, again, one core idea. I take that one core idea, turn it into 4 different content angles following those 4 content buckets. And then I'll turn those into reels. And then, so I post 4 reels. And then for the best ones that have the best angles, because not all of them are going to do great, but maybe 1 or 2 will do better than the average, right? I consider those now winning ideas. So I'll turn those into emails. And then I'll turn those emails to even carousels, because carousels are now making a huge comeback on Instagram. So it's really good to post carousels. And then now that I have this like medium length email, it's pretty easy now to turn that even into a YouTube video. Because my YouTube videos aren't even scripted. Most of the time, I'm just showing something on the screen. And those are working right now really well. So it's not like you have to script YouTube videos. You could do like a Miro board, Loom video. You could do a raw video just talking.
Yeah.
But that's how I basically take like that one core idea and turn it into reels, emails, carousels, YouTube, without really having to think about new ideas, new steps, new actionable tips. That's kind of just how I'm repurposing things. And then even from that YouTube video, now because it's a longer piece of content that maybe is 20 to 30 minutes, I actually use like AI and ChatGPT to extract new core ideas to start the flywheel all over again.
Wow, it's like flywheel on another flywheel. Sorry,
Yeah, literally.
I'm just so excited.
It's really just to make the process easier, because I understand where people, like I tell people post an email on YouTube and they get scared because they can't even post 3 times on Instagram a week, right? So that's why it's like, if you're always trying to create new content, that's where it's going to become hard, because you have to use a lot of your mental energy, rather than if you just you just use like one piece of content and just add a few more points to it, it becomes a lot easier. And especially when you use AI. Like I have an AI system that literally turns reels to emails, emails to carousels, and then those emails to even like a YouTube outline. So it makes it like very easy for me to create content now.
I think you said on one of the other podcasts, like, don't reinvent the wheel. Yeah. So that's basically what it's saying. When it comes to content ecosystem, so you're saying if you have a content that works, so so let me follow the idea. You take a core idea of like the point that you want to make, then you derive the 4 pillars, and then after you shoot and post it, you see that which one works best, and then you take that and then convert it to different mediums. So then the people that are engaging with the content, like so if I'm a business owner, why is it important for them to realize I need to have an ecosystem rather than just sticking with Instagram or sticking with just maybe email that maybe half working?
Yeah. You know what? I actually base this off of, have you ever heard of Google's like 7-4-11 rule?
What is that?
So basically, Google did a research that found that before a consumer becomes an actual buyer of a product, they have to basically interact with your brand 11 times. They have to do like 7 hours of research, or I say like watching content, and they have to see you across 4 different platforms, right? So let's just take Instagram, right? Let's say you post 30 reels a month. Each one is like 60 seconds long, right? At most, someone may watch actually just 15, and that's high usually.
Yeah.
So that's 15 minutes. Right? To get to that 7-hour mark, it's going to take you about 2 years.
It's going to take a long time.
It's going to take you a very long time.
I think that math is so crucial. Yeah.
The thing is, it's not even like you have to get to 7 hours. It's just the main takeaway is like, the more people watch your content, plus the more touch points of your content, see you across platforms, that means the faster it is, it's going to be able to get deep trust with them, which equals faster sales and clients.
Yeah.
Because especially if you're only doing content, there is going to be a sales cycle. Like people will not watch one of your reels and just buy right away.
Right.
You will see that you have to figure out what your sales cycle are. Because I've had people that maybe have seen me from like 12 months ago and they're only buying now. Usually, like I would say my average sales cycle is like, it's definitely reduced now. It's maybe like a month or 2.
Okay.
but it's because of this ecosystem. Because now, let's say someone watches one of my reels, right? I get them to email where now they're maybe reading like a 2 to 3 minute email. And then if I get them to YouTube where they're then watching, like most of my YouTube videos are pretty long, like 20 to 30 minutes. I've now got 30 minutes of watch time through maybe like one day with them rather than like a month of them watching my reels. And I even have like a free course that's like an hour and a half too.
Yeah.
So if someone were to watch my 15 reels a month, it would take 6 months to equal the amount of watch time from them just watching that one hour and a half course, which is like crazy. 6 months versus literally like people watching one course.
Yeah, man, that's such a good perspective to have, because people, when it's so noisy out there and you're just like, go create content, you're like, okay, but you don't know the nuance of the principles behind creating content, of like how watch time builds brand. Can I call it brand maybe equity?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. Okay, so you're helping the business owners organize. No, you need to have it in different places because they don't just buy from you directly. Yeah. Are there any other advices you can give in terms of like how to set up the ecosystem? So if they're just starting out, let's say they've only had one channel, which is brick and mortar.
Yeah.
But they're like, I see this Zeta guy. He's crushing it on social media. Yeah. What do you think are the first maybe one or two ecosystem platforms or mechanisms that you would sort of recommend?
I would say, well, number one, you guys start on Instagram. So post reels. And then an easy thing to get people to, let's say, email, which is, it's become easier than ever, is just create a lead magnet that people want, focus it on like one problem that they're dealing with, and just use ManyChat. And use ManyChat to basically get the emails of them and then send the lead magnet. And what I do,
let's break down what a lead magnet is, because some people might not even know the term. Yeah.
So a lead magnet is just essentially, it's a free resource you give out in exchange for someone's like contact details. So it could be like phone number, name, email.
Okay.
So, and it can be anything. Like literally, lead magnets can be like a simple Google Doc, a Notion board. What I found with lead magnets is as long as it gives some value and it helps someone solve a problem. Again, because you're giving it for free, it doesn't have to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the main problems a lot of my clients have too, is like they think their lead magnet has to be insane and they spend so much time on it. I'm like, listen, just focus on one problem, give them a couple tools to help them out with that. As long as they come out of it positive, not in a negative way, being like, you promised this, but you didn't deliver that.
Right.
As long as you give something that's going to help them, even like 1%, people will be happy.
Taking them from a 0% to at least 1%.
Literally, yeah. As long as you do that, people are happy with your lead magnet. Your brand's not going to be ruined.
Right.
And then the good thing about that is you get someone's email, and then that automatically can go to like your email list, and that's how you start building up an email list.
Okay, so we have this document, whatever it is, a link or a Google Sheet, Google document. And then you said something about ManyChat. Yeah. What is that for those that don't know?
So ManyChat is essentially a tool. I think it's specifically used for like Instagram and Facebook, where it can automatically message people. So for example, if I see at the end of my videos, comment this keyword to get my lead magnet. If someone actually comments that keyword, ManyChat will automatically go ahead and send them a message. And I can do custom messages too. So how my ManyChat funnel kind of looks like is, number one is I ask people if they want this lead magnet, just making sure it's like, hey, do you want like this lead magnet? Like I send this video. Yeah. They press yes, because you can do like custom buttons. And then I'll basically be like, great, to get it for free, just put your email down below. And then basically ManyChat has a really good integration where it can integrate with like email softwares like ConvertKit or MailChimp. Right. So I automatically have it where if someone puts their email in ManyChat, it will go to my ConvertKit like email list. Right. And then basically after that, once they do that, I then just give them the lead magnet, give them the link to it. And then what I even do after that is I just ask them like an open-ended question to continue that conversation. Yeah. Because if there's someone that wants your lead magnet, they're most likely kind of like a warm lead at that point. Yeah. They've showed the action, they've given you their email. Yeah. It's like, why stop there? Continue having a conversation with them, and potentially that's another way that you can just sell your product.
So like something like, hey, maybe 7 days afterwards, like, hey, how did you find the lead magnet or something like that? Or maybe that's too cheesy.
I don't even do that. Literally, right after the lead magnet, I literally have like an automated message that goes, by the way, what are you currently selling on Instagram? I might have a few resources that might help you out.
Oh, that's better.
And then immediately I know what they're selling, and then I can have a conversation with them. And then I figure out their pain points, figure out the gap, why they aren't at their like desire yet, and then I just pitch like my service or product.
How big is your email list since you started creating content?
So my email list, my email list grew to like, we had it at like 25K at one point, but it's because we've kind of like shifted. Like I was super into like AI and just helping people with AI, but now I'm more basically AI for beginners, but now I'm more helping out like higher ticket people. So the email list now after reducing them is probably around to like 13, 14K. But it's like so easy to grow. Like the thing is like I know there's people that have grown their email list from like 0 to 10K from like one video. Just using ManyChat. Like it's so easy nowadays to do it.
And you're saying this automation, because you don't have to be there on the chat, you just put the file in and then let it automate.
Yeah.
It can run 24/7 without you being there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I get so many people getting my lead magnets like every single day. I don't touch it ever.
So then you as a business owner are just focusing on the creative aspect and then also making more money.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's so good. So we now talk about the content ecosystem, how to gather emails. See, this is the thing about so exciting about like talking to you. There's so many different channels we can take this. I really also love how you simplified things when you're creating your videos. It's really easy to consume. A lot of the people are saying educational content is a no-go.
Yeah, basically a lot of people online. Well, a lot of people, you might have heard of this. It's like, oh, educational content is dying. And I feel like a lot of people are saying that nowadays. And well, the reason behind that is just the problem with educational content is if you just give tips. Like there's one content idea in my head that I always see is like, hey, don't post on Instagram until you turn on these 3 settings. I see that video like all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it gets
the 4K,
yeah, and it gets crazy. To be fair, it gets crazy views. Like it gets insane amount of views. But the problem with posting that type of content is like, first of all, you see it from all these other creators. It's a very simple content to create. Like anyone, like you have all these people who have 0 followers or like 10 followers and say they're like a personal branding expert.
Yeah.
Right? They're the type that can post that content, and that's no problem. Or I can even search that up. So the problem with that type of content is it does one thing and one thing only. It just gets you views. But it doesn't get you typically, number one, the people you want to follow you. And it gets you a lot of what's called like freebie seekers. Which is essentially people that just want free stuff from you, but they're never going to buy from you. And that's a problem that I had probably like 1.5 years ago was I was posting a lot of like educational content that was just giving like tips and tricks.
Yep.
But it did attract, like I know it attracted a lot of the people I didn't want it to attract. And it attracted a lot of freebie seekers. So I would get great comments on my videos, but then they just weren't converting. And so I had to go deep and I had to be like, okay, why is this happening? Like why am I not signing people? I'm getting great followers, I'm getting great views. Why are they not converting into sales?
Right.
And that's when I remember hearing this concept of basically instead of posting educational content, post insight-driven content.
Insight-driven content.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
That's more focused on basically shifting beliefs of someone. Because it does make sense. It's like, let's say there's 2 pieces of content. Piece number 1 is basically telling you how to grow on Instagram by turning on all these camera settings and everything.
Yeah.
Right? You look at that person, you may like, oh, this is a good piece of content. You may watch one of their videos, but you might forget them literally the next day.
Yeah.
Rather than, let's say, creator B shifts your perspective on content. For example, if you're watching this video and I shifted your perspective on not only post on Instagram, but doing a content ecosystem,
right,
you are now someone who's going to remember me because I shifted how you believe on how to get results. So that only really comes from more insight-driven content that, again, explains like the why. I explained kind of why you shouldn't be posting on Instagram or only on Instagram, and why you should be doing a multi-platform approach. So that creates a lot more what's called like almost like whale clients, which is basically the people that are going to spend big money on you because they see you as more of an authority, an expert, and you stand out more in your space just because a lot of people aren't creating that type of content. Because to be fair, it doesn't get you a lot of views, but I'd rather get views from, again, the people I want to work with rather than like 100,000 views of just freebie seekers that are never going to buy.
And I think you mentioned in another podcast too, is like followers is a vanity metric. It's like a wrong metric that people are focusing on. That's cool. Let's turn the conversation now. I know where I want to go beforehand.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about two more topics and sort of we'll land the plane. One is AI. There are talks in the town saying it's only a matter of time we find small teams or solopreneurs that have the capability to become a millionaire.
Yeah.
So do you think in the next maybe 1 or 2 years that a single person leveraging content and other things can become a millionaire?
Oh, easily. Yeah, especially I think it's becoming more of a thing where you create a product and you promote it through content. Because it used to be you'd do it through like paid ads, but now you can get free organic traffic. Like Cluely,
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah, that
Like
Asian guy.
those kids.
Yo, Cluey was sponsored.
Yeah. Yo, clearly it's just like a bunch of kids. Well, they have a great story, and that makes for great content when you have a great story, right? The owner, I think he was cheating on his interviews using AI that was undetected, and he was able to land, I think, jobs at Amazon, I believe. And because of that, I think he got suspended or kicked out of, I think it was Colombia too, which makes for a great story, which makes for great content. And now clearly, I think they raised like 15 million. Right. So I think there's going to be a lot more companies like that have a very small team, because with AI, you can create really great products, but it's like, how do you get people to use the products, or how do you get people to even know about the product? And that's going to come through content.
Do you leverage AI in terms of creating visual effects? Because I think what we talked about is prompts and like extracting prompts. Do you also do that on the visual side?
So right now I don't, because I just have an editing team that does most of it.
Right.
They might do it. I'm not exactly sure, but I've seen that for a lot of people. Like especially with the introduction of like VO3 by Google. Like it's so good nowadays.
So real, yeah.
Like I think I saw the other day this video where essentially with AI now you can generate like just a person that looks totally real, right? And they're moving like a real human, and they could put any product in their hands to promote.
Right, which is
crazy. Insane. So it basically removes UGC creators, like creators that were creating content for brands. You can just use an AI tool.
Yeah.
And now, even so, what I've seen too is basically people making fake lifestyle accounts. Because you see, for example, on Instagram, you see these like girls who are posting across the world and everything, posting these destinations, and they make good money because they get sponsored by brands.
Right.
But now there's these AI just models who post the same thing, almost indistinguishable. And now it's like probably a guy running a female lifestyle brand that may have a few 100,000 followers, and they're getting brand deals, which is insane. So I think that's where we're now going. I know a lot of people are worried just about all the AI content coming out as well.
Yeah.
And that's why I do believe it's more important than ever to really build a personal brand through personal stories, through insight-driven content. Because again, anyone can kind of create that educational content with AI. But if you can create content that nobody else can make. And that comes from just telling your personal stories and adapting lessons into it. And that's what's going to make you stand out in this AI content world that's going to massively be created over the next couple of years with just more content coming out that's just AI created.
I think that's bestly put, because you're right. People are looking for learning to build relationships, not just like, following the trend and stuff. And I think you positioning that really de-risks of continuing learning how to, because you're at the front of this game of short forms, right?
Yeah.
And when you're saying, no, like I'm in it for the long game, learning how to build relationships, because there will be other AI creators that's going to take over other things.
Yeah.
So I think, would you say that's a way to, so the North Star of like saying make it relationship first is a good advice you can sort of give to those creators that got hundreds of thousands of views, but they're sort of now panicking because the UGC world is now disappearing, or it could something else could come along with AI.
No, it's just insane. Like I know a lot of I've been reached out by people with like 200,000, 700,000 followers, and they're like, oh, I'm not making like as much money they want. Like they're making like maybe $5,000 a month, which with that many followers, you should be making much more.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a problem there. And then, but yeah, just to avoid this AI rush, because like, I'll be honest, like if you're jumping into content now, it's way harder than when I came in 2023. Like it is much harder. So that's why don't focus so much on those vanity metrics of views and followers, because I
Yeah.
think you will be disappointed.
Right.
But focus more on building connections and relationships and converting more of the viewers you already have. Because if you can focus on that, you can have equal success than those with hundreds of thousands of followers right now.
That's so good. Let's land the plane on this final topic. And it's talking about who you had to become. And there's a principle that I follow. It's like be, do, have. So for the people that are always looking at social, they're like, oh, this person has all this. But it's like, there's a lot of internal work that was done before getting there.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on like who you had to become in terms of mindset, in terms of how you thought about money, as you've now approached, this level of success in your life.
Yeah. For being wise, I'll say this. I think I'll talk about who I had to be to actually even post content in the first place.
Yeah.
Because before content, or before I even started posting content, I was very camera shy. I hated being on camera.
Yeah.
You can ask my parents.
It's really hard to believe that.
Yeah.
Because like now when I see you, you're so great.
You can even ask my parents. Like, I didn't even want to be in photos. Like, like it was crazy. And I wasn't a social media person. Like I was out of everyone, even in my high school, I was one of the latest people that ever got social media. I never used it, never posted anything.
That is so hard to believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it is wild. But like, I remember being like scared because the problem with content and the problem a lot of people have is they're just so afraid of what other people are going to say when they see your content for the first time. They're so afraid. And it's just natural. It's a natural human thing.
Right.
To be like, I'm afraid of people are going to judge me. I'm afraid I'm going to look stupid too. So I think, number one, getting over that mindset was like one of the biggest changes I had to get through was like, listen, this is going to suck for the first pieces of content. I'm going to suck. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to get better. And then my thought of it was like, I'm going to get to a point where these people aren't going to go like cringing at my content and be like, why the hell you're posting this?
Yeah.
Because I feel like even back in 2023 when I was doing it, there was still some stigma to it. I don't think now there's that much stigma because I think everyone's creating content.
Yeah.
But back then, there was still that, like, I feel like you were kind of cringy and I was scared of like all my friends.
Some people,
it.
I think, call it now ascending a cringe mountain or something like that.
Is that what they say?
Yeah, like you got to learn to ascend cringe mountain and then they show different levels.
Honestly, that's so true though.
Yeah.
Like if you ascend it and get to a point where like you don't care what anyone says, you're going to have the most success on social media because you're going to be the most yourself. So I just had to get to a point where like I didn't care what other people thought when they saw my content. I knew the reason I was doing it for, and I stuck with my own beliefs in it. And it's the reason why I get to this point where I've had even like friends, family reach out to me, ask for help.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's who I really had to be. I had to be someone who didn't care what others thought. And I was just so focused on this working and improving it, even though I was super scared just to get on camera in the first place.
Knowing that you're a pretty smart guy of your background, what was it that made you go all in to this?
I think it was, I had like an agency at the time, and I just hated doing like cold emails because that was the main way you would get clients. It's kind of cold emails or paid ads. I just hated doing it.
Right.
So I wanted to get into content because I saw it as a way to, number one, get more clients. And that was really the biggest thing. It was just like, I just want to create content to get my name out there, to get people to see me so that I could close more clients. And what came with it was things I never even imagined. Like I got flown out by like Adobe
to
San Francisco, which is insane.
Yo, Christina.
It's wild because I applied because I used to do math and stats for data scientists. I applied for them.
Wait, what? Say that again. You used to do
math and statistics.
Yeah, math and statistics.
That's what I graduated university for.
Yeah. All those nerds out there, that's hope.
That's hope. It's crazy. Like I applied for them, they rejected me. And then a couple of years later, I'm getting flown out from them, put up in like a hotel in San Francisco, which was insane.
Wow.
And then get invited on like cool podcasts like this, right? Sharing my story. It's like that all started just because I started creating content. And I never would have thought about any of this happening.
So you're saying one of the reasons, because you're running your business and you hated the way you're getting clients of sending emails. But also, I think that I want to tie it into this point and then we'll finish off, is money. So your money story, how has it changed at that point that you just drew for us to now, understanding about how to leverage content in order to make more income and so on?
I think when I first started, it was just like, okay, hard work is going to make me more money, right? If I work more, it's going to make me more money.
So like more hours?
Yeah. So like literally how my days look like when I was first starting up with content is I would wake up around like 8:30 in the morning, and then there was a WeWork by me, and I would make my lunch and dinner before, and I would be at WeWork from 8:30 in the morning to maybe 10 to 10:30 at night.
Wow.
And I was just grinding because in my head I was like, okay, the more I work, the more money I make. And now I think I've come to a place where I don't focus on working more. I actually focus on working less, but just focus on the actual activities that's going to generate most of the income. And just, again, leveraging and being smarter with content, right? A year ago or like 2 years ago, if you wanted me to post across email, YouTube, and IG, I would have posted multiple pieces of content, different ideas. It would have taken so much longer.
Yeah.
But again, by now using this flywheel, creating systems that are now smarter, I work less and I still make more just because I'm working smarter.
Wow. So you're saying from I call it the social promise. You're saying, hey, growing up with the system, you now realize working harder doesn't actually necessarily mean more money.
Yeah.
But actually working. Can you share with us one of the things that you're saying, like some of the things I'm going to focus on that's going to make me more money? Like maybe something you had this week or last week?
So I would say some things that I'm working on to help make more. It's just figuring out ways just to create more leverage. It's like what pillar or what levers can I pull right now that's going to get more money into my bank account without me working more. And number one, it could be literally just hiring more team members because you get to a point where it's like you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Like you could, but then you're not going to focus on the other activities that's actually going to make you more. So like hiring more people out is like a big thing for me, and like hiring people to take care of like DMs or even helping out with like content too. That's a big one as well. So that's right now what I'm helping out with or what I'm working on. And then some other things is just like also just thinking about, okay, how can I increase my LTV per customer? So lifetime value, which is basically how much does one client spend with you? Because instead of consistently getting new clients, if I could figure out how they can actually just spend more money with me, then I can make them out the same revenue than working hard just to sign new clients.
Oh, that's a good way to think, yeah.
So it's just like little things like that where it's like to really scale up, it's not so much doing more, it's optimizing certain systems. It's just thinking differently with the data that you currently have.
Chris, we got to have you on for another episode because we can probably go on for extra hours. Share with us where people can find you and what other exciting things you're working on these days.
Yeah, so you can find me at OnlyZeta on Instagram and on YouTube. Things that I'm focusing on. Right now, I'm really getting into using AI and automations to help make content easier and create some of the backend systems also easier too. So that's what I'm working on a lot. And so if you want to see all that, again, follow me because I'm going to be posting a lot of that soon. And if you're more, I would say like a high ticket business owner that wants to learn how to use content to grow their businesses, I think my new content's going to come out in like a month or two because I'm kind of changing some things up. It's going to be very more dialed in. And I think it will help you out. So definitely check that out.
Are you still taking on clients at this moment with?
Oh, yeah. Still clients for like one-on-ones and everything. Yeah. Still doing that. So if you want help too with content, hit me up.
There you go. Well, yeah, thanks for being here. Any last words for those people that are on their edge of their seats? I want to create content to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Last word of encouragement.
I would just say this. Listen, I was an ambitious, camera shy person, did not want to create content, was scared of creating content. And literally, it happens a lot faster than you think, success, especially with content. As long as you become someone worth following. And the thing is, you don't have to be an expert at what you do. What I usually tell people is like, people will follow you if you're just a little bit better than like average than they are. If you can help people go from, let's say, a skill level of 1 to a skill level of 3 or 4, you can grow a massive following and make a lot of money. So don't think you need to be an absolute expert to talk about what you want to talk about. Just share what you've learned, give some good value. And as long as you become someone worth following, you're going to see the followers will come. And then from that, I believe the money will come as well for you.
There you go. So put the money last. I mean, it's still at the thought, but...
It's not the thought, but focus on attracting people first. And then, the money will come from that.
Yeah, there you go. Chris Zeta, thank you so much for... I keep saying Chris Zeta, dang it. Only Zeta, there you go.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.